Dear friends of Rubelli, welcome to the 2021 collection. This year we are forced to present it in a different way. So we've been creative. We are here in the room where the collection takes form, in the design studio in Venice. And here we're happy to welcome you and have you enter in our laboratory where the collections are developed. Last year, 2020, was an odd year, let's understate it. And our design studio was forced to stay at home and to work from home for many months. Nevertheless, they were able to create quite a fantastic collection, a collection with a strong personality. Each fabric has a strong personality. And I'm very proud that we'll be soon presented with Alberto, the head of our creative design studio. It's a collection which is born in Venice, in this room and in the homes of our designers, which has been woven in our own mill in Cucciago, next to Como, other than the prints, which were printed nearby at a printing mill that we have been working with for many years. So really some friends. So born in Venice, produced in Como. What could be better than that? A collection with a strong personality, but also of variety and diversity. We really wanted to have highlights which bring joy and color to your homes. So we have worked with combinations of woven prints, colorful, a lot of color, tone on tone. There are some beautiful, elegant tone on tones textiles. We have traditional, we have contemporary, we have timeless, most of all. All the fabrics really can suit in both ways. We have decorative, we have textures. But again, we have so many textures from the previous year that you can combine them and make this collection even more rich. We have, among the decorative, we have figurative, we have floral, we have geometrics, a new section for Rubelli geometrics, very interesting ones. All fabrics are suitable for upholstery. They are resistant, they are strong, but they are soft, so they can create a wonderful drapery. Enjoy it, you will see it. It's quite spectacular. A lot of them, all of them work for indoor, of course. Some of them are suitable also for outdoor. All work for residential. They perform very well, other than being beautiful. Many of them are also suitable for hospitality projects. They meet all international standards. We have silk. Rubelli cannot live without silk. We have cotton. We have the flame retardant fibers, which are all certified. So they meet all standards. They don't harm the environment. We have new fibers, eco-viscose, and a new very interesting eco-polyamide. We will talk about it later. A new entrance in the industry of interior design textiles. All of them are highlight. I'm really proud of the work of my team, and I can't wait for you to discover it. So welcome to the world of Rubelli. You know, Rubelli is friend of arts. We've always been supporting, since several decades, the Peggy Guggenheim collection in Venice. This year we did something more. You know, there are so many less visitors to Venice, which means less income, also for important museums such as the Peggy Guggenheim collection. So we decided to give one further help to the collection, where our heart lies. So we've always been charmed by the gate, the entrance gate, which is a work of art, by Claire Frankenstein, commissioned by Peggy Guggenheim in 1961, which enters into the world. The Peggy Guggenheim collection is beyond this gate. So we were really inspired by it and by the detail, the ironwork and these glass insets, which make you see through and give the color. And through it, you see the white of the stone, which is a characteristic of the Palazzo Venere dei Leoni, the green of the garden, and on the other side, the blue of the Canal Grande. So beyond is the fabric that we dedicated to the Peggy Guggenheim collection, woven in silk with several threads in the weft. And when you see this idea of the gate, and through it, you see the highlights, the characteristic of the Peggy Guggenheim Museum. The gate is an artwork by Claire Frankenstein, a fantastic artist who was based in New York, and I want to read you a sentence which explains her work. If I can reach through and touch the other side, if I may look through and focus beyond, my feeling verifies the idea that notion is space. So Beyond was an appropriate name for it. And the director of the Peggy Guggenheim collection, Carol Vail, who's the granddaughter of Peggy Guggenheim herself, she wrote, with this project, Rubelli shows once again its commitment to supporting the artistic and cultural activities that the Peggy Guggenheim collection offers to its members and visitors. I am delighted that together we share a passion and shape the future. I love what she wrote. So let's move forward into the real Rubelli 2021 collection. And it's a collection which is made of 4 families: the prints, then we move to the silk fabrics, then to the eco fabrics, woven with an eco polyamide that guarantees resistance and also other ecological fibers, and finally the flame retardant and outdoor collection. So we start with the 5 patterns of the print collection, patterns which tell a story. We move from the fairy tales to architecture, to painting, to the jungle, to florals. Finally, I leave the word to the artist, to the one who made the fabrics, Alberto.
Hello to everybody. As Niccolò told you, we explored the variety of possibility through this technique of printing by the digital machines, where the technique has reached such a high level that allowed us now to produce a very detailed product. As in the first one, the print, which is named Il Marchese di Carabas, shows different scenes illustrated by an artist that we met, I would say by chance, because visiting the exhibition that takes place every year in a village nearby Venice, dedicated to illustrators, we were fascinated by his very detailed sketches. It's a pure cotton, lightly chinsed in a way that adds a very nice touch to the fabric. The version I'm showing you is the one with the cold colors.
Alberto told you that this was by chance. It is not true. We have talked about a lot on how to develop a new figurative print, and so they went chasing, they went scouting for the best designer they could find, and they find them at this special fair for children book, which is quite amusing. So Alberto showed you the Bonne Nuit version of the fabric, where the moon is somewhere, but there is a second version, the Bonjour. And Bonjour, of course, has the sun, and it has the color, the warm colors of the sun. I'm showing you on the chair because in spite of being fantastic for panels, for drapery, for bedspreads, it is also great for upholstery. It is strong, residential of course, but and you can really create a jewel by upholstering a chair with this very fun and welcoming pattern. One more detail, the selvages. Alberto and his team, the design team, wanted to give more character and characterize the Rubelli fabric, the prints, with a special stripe, which remarks that all the prints are made in Italy and they are Rubelli. I think it's very elegant, anyhow.
The second print is Déjeuner sur l'herbe, a French name for, I would say, a French-inspired print, because it reminds the famous Toile de Jouy, but in a totally contemporary interpretation. As you can see, the trees are redesigned as a watercolor with this watercolor effect, and the colored scenes, which are originally from wooden panels of the 18th century, were painted by a famous Venetian painter in the mid of the 18th century. This is a totally new creation that reminds the Toile de Jouy.
Yes, the ground, the trees, comes from an artwork, a contemporary artwork, whereas the scenes, they come from next to Alberto's home, the famous Villa Pisani, which also inspired the Villa Pisani brocade of last year. So there is a continuity also from here. But I love the way the design team decided to introduce them and to put them around this very contemporary the ground to make it rich and special. And again, I'm not deciding to become an upholsterer, but why not put it also on a chair? The second version instead has the trees in green and gives a different tone and a different warmth to the fabric. I think both Alberto and I prefer the gray one.
Of course, yes. It's also closer to the Toile de Jouy colorway, which are used to see in the past. The third print, it's from an oil, a new interpretation of a very popular theme, the architecture. In this case, is the island of Burano that gave us the idea of this very impressive new motif, where we put together several buildings and some details of fabrics where we could also recognize some RUBELLI fabrics. Again, is the digital technique that gives us the chance to reproduce the 3D effect of the oil paintings that gave the idea for this new print. It's a different ground, it's a heavier cotton ground.
It's almost a canvas, since really this is like a painting, not just a print. You can almost see the depth of the color on top of it.
And now Nicolo will explain you about the colorways.
Well, the colorway, we love this color. We thought this year we all need some joy and some excitement and color. So this color could not miss, and it's also the color of the homes in Burano, the island of the lagoon. But if you don't dare as much, why not have a more muted, let's say Burano in a foggy day, then it becomes like this. So you have the tones which are warmer, softer, but we all prefer the strong one. And then there is a third color, very chic, architectural, and we have the black and white. It has been some time since RUBELLI has not introduced some black and white fabrics, but how could we resist to do this beautiful black and white canvas, painted canvas?
And now nature comes with home jungle, starting from a gold foil original artwork. We came out with this print, which is very elegant and particularly contemporary because it developed by using just two tones, the neutral ground, the off-white ground, and the colored motif on top.
Be wild, take the jungle in your home, and in fact it's called home jungle. What a more appropriate name. And it comes in many colors. The other prints, as you have seen, few colors, 2, 3, 1, the next. But in this case, we decided that it was worth doing a proper color palette. I love this shades of gold. I think it's so lively. The ground is slightly off-white, but then we have a wonderful, the tone of the fall, of the autumn leaves, a neutral color for those who don't dare too much. Again, not black, but the anthracite on the white, which stands out so much. And then the proper colors. I love this teal. How would you call, Alberto, this color?
It's close
teal?
To indigo.
Yes. Then you have, of course, how could we not have the green jungle? What's more appropriate than this? And then we have the wild jungle, the red jungle. I think it's also wonderful to have them all together, to play with the different colors of the pattern. I believe it's a very joyful, because of this bright ground and the color, it's a joyful and pleasant, easy to use fabric. One more thing, really this year we wanted also, we know prints need to be used also in large quantities, we wanted to be also wise, so they're also very reasonably priced. Discover it. The last of the prints.
The last one, it's a floral motif in a very big scale, printed on a rich cotton satin. Even this, La Vie en Rose, is chinsed in order to give a more strength to the colors. It's just in one colorway, because it's so special, the motif, that we couldn't develop many others as nice as this one.
Again, it's a great pattern for drapery, wall upholstery, also for upholstery. Why not decorate a chair with this fantastic, passionate, voluptuous fabric, print, and all these shades of pink, red. Its name, La Vie en Rose, could not be more appropriate. And from La Vie en Rose, we move to something else. We move to the silks, the DNA of Rubelli, but we had a different point of view this year, and we created something which is really, I'm very proud of it, because it's Rubelli, it's exciting. Again, color plays an important role in these fabrics. So Alberto, let us discover what we have.
We have Granduchessa, which is as rich as an original brocade, full of gold threads and many colors in the changing weft. You see how dense and rich is the weaving, the construction of this 18th century inspired fabric, where we played with the original motif, adding some charming new details. So we recreated the spirit of this traditional motif, adding some insects in it.
There is a story to this fabric. A very famous fashion designer asked us to develop some traditional patterns. So out of our archives came this fragment of this Baroque opulent fabric, which was developed, less rich, I have to say. Then his research of this designer moved in a different direction, so it stayed here. I didn't want it to be lost because there was a lot of work done in the development. So Alberto and his team reworked on it, and they really added this gold yarn, and it is really sizzled if you look at it. This is a piece of jewelry, it's not a fabric. And with these colors, it's really a joyful jewel.
One more silk with a completely different spirit. It's inspired by an embossed leather, something which is still decorating a room in a Venetian palace. This attracted us because it's such a unique, not seen before pattern, full of details, where we could play with yarns, blending linen and shiny viscose. It's very close to the effect of the original piece of leather that gave inspiration. The name is Toledo, and it has been developed in several colors. The one that Nicolas shows you, the first one is very close to the colors of the leather, which
the original
is
gilded and embossed leather, which is, yes, still on display in a palace in Venice. So it's quite, there's a good story to it. But this is Alberto, while he was waiting, staying at home because the office were in lockdown time, he really worked on every single detail of the weaves. It's fantastic for this, the sheen of the silk ground, the satin, and then these weaves that make it very precious. So yes, the pale gold that Alberto showed you, the, let's say, original color, one which has a grayish tone, the cold color, the previous one were warm, and then there are some interesting color. I love the aqua, again with this soft gold tone in it. The pattern is really very interesting. It has, to me, it has even a little bit of Art Deco feeling, these leaves.
The point is that embossed leather have, compared to fabrics, they have different patterns, quite completely different. And this is, and we used in the past other motifs, and they were always successful.
You are proud of this red, why?
Why? Because red is becoming, compared to the past, a less popular color. But in this case, I think by mixing the contents, the linen, which is a pinkish, with the acetate, which is close to copper, we reached a color combination which is very special, very dramatic, but at the same time, very elegant.
And under the light, it is so elegant and so rich, really rich. But there's a story also to this color, the queen green. Why?
Why? Because
reveal the secret, please.
We all have seen the Queen.
Queen Elizabeth II,
Queen
of course. The Queen, yes.
The Queen, who during the quarantine
addressing to her
a speech to
people,
to the British population. She was wearing a dress in a shade of green, and we were attracted by that special green, and we decided to try it in the new color range.
It's very joyful. So we have the queen green, a new introduction in this collection.
The joy of colors for Contessa, which is a very heavy and rich silk lampus, where we played with 4 different colors on the whitish silk background, reinterpreting again a traditional motif taken from a velvet, which is in our archives. From a distance, you get the effect of the 3D that reminds, in fact, the original document, the original velvet that gave inspiration for this product.
The pattern is traditional, but thanks to its color and the strength that it has, it suits and fits very well a contemporary design interior and actually gives value to it. So yes, we have this beautiful pink and reds, and again, the name is, our silks are very royals, because we have the Queen Green, we have the Contessa, and we had the Granduchessa, which is, of course, homage to Russia. We have another tone, another color on the tones of red, but this kind, it's more a rusty red, orangey red. And then, I love this color, but even more the following one. Well, Tiffany color, which is always very lively and very successful. But this year we introduced also a very special tone of greens, acid green, which I think is so joyful, is so beautiful. Really, something like this no longer looks traditional, even though it fits very well in traditional interior. It has so much life. And really, as Alberto mentioned, it looks like a velvet. It feels like a velvet because of the richness of the wefts on the silk ground. Of course, we needed a neutral, but the neutral would have been too boring, just in the same quality. So we did add a little bit of metallic. So the neutral color is called Contessa Gold because it has also the gold yarn inside. It's more precious than the others. And it reflects the light because of the metal in a different way. Pure wealth. After these, we move to the section of, well, eco-fabric. We always think, well, RUBELLI, it's a 5 generations, so we've been there for a long time. We're a sustainable company, let's put it that way. But we also want to develop new yarns, not always the same. So after long research, we finally came into this eco polyamide, which is not just a normal, let's say, nylon coming from oil, but it comes from nature. It's a yarn which is innovative biosource fiber, which comes from the extract of castor beans. So very unexpected is, I think, we're the first in our industry to use it. And it's a yarn which has a very nice sheen, a very nice hand, and performs very well. So really, we were quite excited to find it, to discover it, and because of a little time and because of the lockdown, we could not develop as much as we would, but we have several designs, which Alberto now is introducing, which are woven on the warp of this very intriguing fiber. So let's enter the eco section of the collection.
An intriguing geometrical pattern, which has a vintage look and vintage colors also. These strips overlapping on the neutral satin ground. We used, apart from the eco-nylon that Niccolò mentioned, also eco-viscose to weave it, that makes this product 100% sustainable. It's meant to be used mainly for drapery, for decoration, but it is suitable also for light upholstery.
Sustainable, not without beauty. So I'm particularly fond of this fabric because I think it has a vintage look, it has a retro feeling, it reminds possibly, in the color that Alberto showed you, of the map of the London Underground. So it can have a lot of feelings. It's suitable for upholstery, it's great for drapery because of its very nice hand, very soft. So really multi-purpose and, well, sustainable, really. The colors are fantastic. The one Alberto showed, very happy. We have these reds and blues. I love this purple with the brown. And again, the retro feeling is really highlighted by this off-white ground and these soft colors. This is fantastic. It's another. So really a big variety of color, a big range. Finally, also the neutral for those who don't want to dare, but the fabrics which brings a lot of character to an interior.
It's not easy for Rubelli to play with geometrical patterns. We are not so popular for this kind of motifs, but I think we gave the right spirit by redesigning by hand these lines with a touch of creativity.
Rubelli is not about sharp lines. That's our fact. We like curves, we like this patina. It's about Venice. It's the time, the weather, the surfaces. So also these ribbons which unroll on the surface, they're not perfect. They're really paintbrush, in fact, and that's how they were achieved. They're really paintbrush. And you can see in the back the amount of yarns that it takes to make such a fabric. Nevertheless, it's soft and drapes really well.
Full of details, it is also this new lampus, which is called Martinique, where we played from the past. We took pointed paper. It's not a fabric that gave origin to this product. It's a pointed paper from the 18th century. And we overlapped another motif on it in order to get a different look. It seems like a lace. We love the fact that it becomes even iridescent when you move the fabric. And it has been so tightly woven that is also very durable. So it's a decorative fabric suitable for curtains, but also for upholstery.
Extremely suitable for upholstery, 50,000 martindales. So this is the miracle that we achieve with a fabric which looks like silk, but has all the characteristic and the high performance and beauty made also strong. It's part of the research that we daily do aesthetics, but also the qualities, the performance, and many other issues. I love this new color, this brown with the gold, and you see how on a piece of furniture, again, 50,000 martindales, so no fear, even though the fabric is really soft. And for the upholsterer, it is a pleasure to work with it because it's easy to work. But it has this memory of the original pattern with its exotic plants and details inside. That's why the name Martinique. Lot of colors, the pink, you have several tones of blues. Blues are so popular. There is a darker blue, with where the goldish thread comes out even more. Grayish tone, this new gray that we've seen throughout the collection. We couldn't miss the white with the off-white weft, so really, which brings light. Here you don't see. I mean, if you have a drapery with this, you see the reflection of the light on it more than the pattern. The white with the gold weft, again, creating a fantastic drapery or for upholstery. It's really something quite fantastic. I love this where the aqua color comes against the white of the ground. Normally they are also beautiful on the other side, so you can decide, but no, here you have more sheen. And then, of course, there was the black and white that Alberto showed you. Again, once more, I don't know what happened to us this year, but we love black and white. What happened? Color, but we needed maybe to mute down a little bit. So what's next, Alberto?
Next is Cuba Libre, another geometrical pattern with a special spirit. We played with a simple motif, but you see how full of details. We were attracted by the sketch, were translated into a fabric, playing with the yarns. The surfaces become so interesting. And let me say something about this fiber, because we are very concerned about the planet. We choose this yarn because it has a very well-balanced shine. It's not totally matte, it's not too shiny. And it's much nicer than the standard nylon that we used in the past. Also, the touch, the handle, it's very nice, close to a natural fiber.
You have to know that when we develop a fabric, we always use these chairs to see how it would look upholstered. This chair has a special karma that really you can put a piece of fabric on it and you understand if it upholsters well. And so that's why we want to show them also in this way, to share with you how they would look on a piece of furniture. Of course, in the RUBELLI brochure that the marketing department has put together, you will see other pieces of fabric, of furniture. But this really highlights the fabric and shows, yes, it can work very well on a piece of upholstery. So yes, this gives a really special character to the piece of furniture. This being a more masculine pattern, the colors are more wise, more neutral. Again, the black and white with a touch of brown, the neutral. This, how would you define this color? Gray, a greenish gray, and the one that Alberto, of course, has already displayed. But we go back to the jungle.
We go back to the jungle with Java. It's the same pattern you saw in the print. So it's another version of the same motif. And here you see how we reproduced the look of the gold leaf that were used for the sketch we developed as a jacquard. It's nice to see the overlapping layers.
It has, the main pattern has this metallic feeling, is almost flat, like a piece of metal overlapped on the fabric, and then you have this shading. This is possibly the most delicate fabric of the collection, because this yarn, to achieve this beautiful surface, well, you have to let it a little bit loose. So yes, you can upholster, but with care. And the colors are beautiful, playing again the white against this neutral ground, or the gray we've seen before with the gold. I love the aqua. I love the aqua. Really, it brings so much beauty into a home, and the pink. Actually, they're nice to work together. Really, you have this metal which is so strong, and this. Very good tone of sheen, as Alberto mentioned. This Eco polyamide from castor beans has a special sheen, which is quite amazing. And then, of course, the black and white that Alberto showed. The pieces that Alberto is showing you are the colors that you will receive in your road collection. So, and this is actually the rotation, the way we ask you to introduce the collection to our clients around the world. This is also not only a way to present you the collection, what we have created during this year, but also to give you a suggestion on how to present it to our clients.
Since you see the same pattern developed by using two different techniques, Home Jungle shows how prints are very good in playing with colors. The weaving version instead gave us the chance to go very close to the original idea with the gold metal leaf. I would say that playing with yarns, it's the best way how to obtain the third dimension. And it is what we obtained at the maximum in the following fabric. Vibrations. Vibrations, it's a contemporary fabric. It's like strokes of very thick paint on a colored surface. And it is surely a very interesting upholstery fabric developed in
6 colors for vibrations. And yes, it is painting because they're really paint strokes. We have this dimension, but also you thought about music. You think it's like a jazz song because of this interrupted and this vibration. The name comes from the music, in fact. I think I will reupholster my sofas at home because I particularly like this fabric for its dimension and for its color, which are really suitable for upholstery. This is a grays. We decided to do a white tone-on-tone where really the dimension of the yarns, it has so much dimension. The dimension is what creates the fabric. And it's soft to the touch. It's really fantastic to use. I love the grays also. Tough to decide which color. I love the grays, playing with these different tones of gray. We have one, how would you call this color? Camouflage, okay, the camouflage color. If you want to hide at home, of course, we have the color that Alberto has shown you. And there's one which is different from the others, because in this case, the thick yarn, which gives relief to the fabric, instead of being neutral, has a bronze touch to it. You can also upholster by railroading it, but I love this color. This is so deep. It really has a special, because of the black of the warp and this bronze color, it looks like a metallic work, doesn't it? It's your favorite.
It is my favorite,
tell the truth.
Yes.
Okay, after this section, we move to the FR, flame retardant, and outdoor section. Of course, we have learned in the past that all our high-performance textiles can work everywhere. They have the additional advantage that they can use without concerns in public areas because they meet all codes, but they're great for homes. We want practicality, we want performance, and we can guarantee it with these fabrics. So high resistance to abrasion, washable, a lot of additional performances which make fabrics easy to use. That's what we like. In addition, as Alberto mentioned, we care about the planet, so they are sustainable. They all meet the Green Guard Gold code. We have this certificate, and standard 100 by Ecotex. So they are certified. They don't harm the planet and all the people who use them, and can be used without concern. In this section, there is a part which is geometrics. We have already so many planes, neutral textures. We wanted to give more life and vibration to the collection, so we played with this collection of geometries, which are also suitable for outdoor. Keep in mind that they all work very well with a huge collection that we already have of textures. So Alberto, let's start with our item which has the most number of colors.
NAP. It's a very charming name for a nice, rich chenille. It's a piece-dyed chenille woven in our mill by using a recycled polyester warp and an FR chenille developed in 34 colors. It has a very rich color range, very bright colors in it. It is also treated with a stain repellent treatment It's the first time we are using this process. So this can guarantee you that this fabric is very easy to use. And of course, it plays very well with the entire collection. Above all, let me show you another color, the Aqua, the very popular Aqua color. Compared to a plain velvet chenille, I would say it's even more interesting because you see how the yarn plays with light. There are all this movement, all this deepness. And this is Talete, the first geometrical pattern, which is a charming small motif inspired by the past, but from the past, but really, but totally contemporary in this look, and also developed with a special yarn, a special finishing in order to obtain a very natural feeling.
One step back, I go back to nap. For once, I don't need to upholster my chair because it's already upholstered in nap. So it works very well. The upholsterer were very proud to use it, and it looks fantastic. No fear, don't be afraid, it will not crash, it will not, it's not afraid of anything because of its high performance, including, as Alberto mentioned, the stain repellent, 48,000 martindale, indestructible. Unfortunately, the chair will wear out before the fabric, and 34 colors. So really a big variety. Don't hesitate, it's a feast of colors. Don't hesitate to use it. You've seen from Alberto's hand how soft it is, how wonderful. And we were very proud to develop it, something which is so versatile. And Alberto started also entering the world of outdoor, indoor and outdoor. So the Talete collection, yes, inspired maybe also by the flows of San Marco. We see in the flows of San Marco these patterns, and I'm particularly fond of the, well, black and white with a hint of pale gold color, which gives so much vibration to the surface. And then colors. There's a lot of colors in these sections of geometries. We have the red, we have this wonderful blue with the bronze, the color that Alberto has introduced you to, which introduces the green and gold, and a soft one, neutral, if you don't want to dare too much. A pattern because of its curves that really brings vibration to the interior. Next, so Talete, the names are those of the antique mathematicians of Greece.
Archimedes is the second pattern, more straight. We played with squares, with rectangles, and Euclide. I'm showing you all of them together because the spirit of the collection is this, to play with the geometrical patterns together. Euclide has been developed in a totally new construction where there is a second warp that it has been used in order to give durability to this fabric. But again, the touch, the handle is very pleasant, it's very nice, very close to a natural fabric. And this is, as Nicolo said, an in-outdoor fabric because we used those dyes which are suitable for the car industry. So we reached the level of 7 on the scale of color fastness, where the maximum is 8.
And from the queen green of Archimedes, we go to the green of Euclide in black and white, this beautiful, soft, warm color, the yellow. And it's interesting because, yes, the face is the color with a square in an opposite color, but you can also use in the other side. It is a reversible fabric. And we have the red with the white touch. Squares which move around the surface.
We started from a handmade prototype we wove in our design studio. And we came out with this, I would say, very interesting product, where we played with many different yarns, all FR polyester, of different natures, in the sense that some are spun, some are filament yarns, very suitable for outdoor. And it's the vibration of colors that attracted us, where we put together the different colorways, basically developed by using a neutral warp, adding colors to colors, and keeping the regularities which are characteristic of the handmade prototype we made.
Eureka. It's one of my favorite fabrics, 12 colors, and simple textures are the most difficult things to do, because in simplicity, put refinement, elegance, and color in simplicity is not easy. And I think that the design studio, Alberto and his team, did an amazing work in achieving this. There are 12 colors, as I mentioned, two different lines of development, let's say. You have Eureka, multicolor, where the grid of white ground and the, in this case, gray grid is colored with a different color vibration inside. Or there are also 6 colors where the grid, on the grid overlays only one single color, as in the case of this blue. I'm particularly fond of this blue. I don't know why, but the blue and white with this black, I think it's extremely elegant. It really has the strength and the depth of the hand-woven fabric. It's really amazing, the hand it has. And again, suitable indoor, outdoor, residential contract, no limits to its use. So the multicolors are the greens, well, Tiffany, let's say, with this touch of white, which gives liveliness to it. There's a multicolor one, Arlecchino, I would say it, with the green in the ground. We couldn't miss a red. So a red, these different tones of red and pinks. And we have one neutral. The neutrals plays with different off-whites, so it looks simple again, but it's very refined because of this movement of the colors. Other than the 6 more planes have this turquoise color. We have, isn't it elegant, this? I mean, you can see how this can upholster well. You feel it, it has a softness to it. Really, you want to have it, to live with it immediately. And there is more audacious, the green with the gold, and stronger, the red with the white ground. And finally, as we did earlier with vibrations, we decided to do one which is just a dimension, the texture. So here comes Eureka, all white. You do have a small difference in the colors between the ground and the pattern, but it's really mostly about the texture, the dimension. I think it's wonderful, very, very refined. So easy to use textiles, but we still have one pattern belonging to this family of geometries. And this is also has a very interesting story behind it.
The story behind Pythagora, I found this motif in a museum. It has a very old origin because it comes from Mykonos, from Greece, from the archaeological museum. I was attracted by this, I would say, archaic motif that looks contemporary at the same time, and that complete perfectly the range where we explored different kind of geometrical patterns. It has a bigger scale. It plays with more round lines. It has been woven in a double phase construction where we kept also the 3D effect of the embossed metal.
Here are the 5 colors of this very intriguing pattern. I always wonder if these were supposed to be the waves of our Mediterranean Sea. Who knows what those artists and warriors had in mind when they put this on their shield. Wonderful, again, as Alberto mentioned, reversible, so you have 5 colors, double. and adds all this curve, this harmony to the collection of high performance, suitable for indoor, outdoor, and everything, and high resistance. In this case, it is 42,000 martindales for abrasion, so easy use. This is a COVID-free, COVID-safe presentation, so that's why we had to record it before, because Alberto and I are quite far away. But I would like Alberto to show you the entire range on the wall. I cannot approach you. So, because really the impact of all the colors is very interesting to see how they can work. They're complementary to each other. They can work together, put them together. Or of course, you can always use them with our big range of planes. Alberto will show you later some examples, but don't hesitate to take them out, because it's only a pleasure to work with them. Once again, we are producing this size of book for the new textures, and you will have one for NEP, the stain repellent chenille, and the 34 colors. You will have one for the 4 geometry, one for Eureka, the top weave 12 colors, and one more book for the 4 geometries altogether. So 3 books to add to our collection of planes and textures, and to give liveliness to this selection.
I think it's nice to have a complete overlook of the entire line. So you see how we worked on this new collection. Each pattern complements the other. So you don't necessarily find the same colors in each pattern. And we suggest in this way the use of different patterns together. But you see how playful, what was the spirit that guided us when we choose the pattern and when we selected the colors. The series of geometrical pattern is completed by Arianna, a very elegant motif, re-elaborated from a deco pattern with this 3D effect obtained by adding a shading line to the shiny motif, which is on relief. It's a fabric that folds in a very nice way, as you can see. A bit shiny, so it's elegant, and it's also usable for upholstery because it's quite strong.
Arianna, you remember all the labyrinth of Knossos and Arianna, the story of the Minotaur. And Arianna is possibly the sharpest of our geometries, but because of this shading, it has the Rubelli touch. So it becomes really Rubelli in spite of these sharp lines, straight lines. And it was meant for drapery. We wanted something, a larger scale for drapery and a little bit more sheen for drapery. At the end of the day, we realized it's 25,000 martindale, so suitable for possibly not for the hard contract, but good enough to resist to a wear of a public area. And of course, because of the shading, the colors, and because it was meant for drapery, the colors are quite soft. So we do have the pale gold, these 2 neutrals, one with a warm touch, with a warm shade, and one with a cold shade, the gray. I love and these softer colors for draperies, I think they're just fantastic. With this shading, gives a very special touch. We have the blue, the green, we have the pink that Alberto has shown, and in addition, we couldn't resist to put this lilac. I think it's wonderful. These 4, the colors are so joyful, well, all of them actually, and they make a very interesting palette. So Arianna, the story of the maze of Knossos becoming contemporary. Next.
From the rigid lines of Arianna to the watercolor effect of this shaded damask, Nadar. where we played with the same shiny yarn. We were missing new damask, so we decided to introduce nadar. Once you see from a distance, it reveals this interesting 3D effect. Even if it's almost a spotted motif, it has been inspired by nature, even this motif.
The first idea were flowers, which I'm not too fond of. So I put it on purpose on the other side, and I railroaded it because it looks more abstract. I prefer it like that. But yes, it is a beautiful fabric. It drapes very well, and it has a good performance, 31,000 martindale tours, and it's wonderful. Of course, can also be used on the other side if you prefer the other touch of colors. And it has, other than Arianna, which has these bright colors, it has more, well, there's a blue, it's a different range, more depth to it. This indigo color like a jeans, and of course there is one neutral, warm neutral, where you just see the reflection of the light. It plays with the contrast of a more shiny warp and a drier weft. So it's about color, but it's also about sheen and matte. And then, once more, we couldn't resist the black and white. So we have the black and white, which possibly recalls the photography of Nadar, the famous photographer. So, Nadar, and finally, what do we have, Alberto?
And here, I show again how we like to play with the tradition. We invented a new version of a traditional damask by adding a text on top. A printed page is nice. It has some beauty. And let's say by cutting according to the pattern, a printed page, we got this new look for a traditional pattern. Even the coloration is contemporary, as Niccolo will show you.
Yes, the name is lettere, which means letters, because it is really like the typed letters on top of the damask. It's a text, and this was possibly inspired also by the art of Joseph Kossuth, and there's a very sophisticated story behind. I love the newspaper, let's say, color, the black and white. There is an old vintage, let's say, sepia colors, and the red that Alberto has shown you, of course, and the queen green comes back, but this time, because of the contrast to let the letters be read, it comes against an anthracite ground. So an interesting way to complete the presentation with a fabric which joins tradition. The pattern is very traditional, but it's a full creation, and with so many links to Venice, because the words are from the catalog of the Querini Stampaglia in Venice, and to art, and so much more. Grazie Alberto for putting together this strong collection of highlights of textiles with a big character, really big personality. And thank you all who have been listening to us until this moment, and who will spread the word of Rubelli around the world. Please make our work be fruitful. Thank you and all the best. May 2021 be a great year for each of you. Bye.